Hey y'all, let me tell you about Mochi. Mochi is a telehealth platform that connects patients seeking medication-based weight loss treatment with board-certified doctors and dietitians to help them determine the best treatment options to accomplish that goal. Mochi's program is completely virtual, meaning you can access their services anywhere in the United States and you will be meeting with their team online. You deserve doctors that listen. Mochi is dedicated to providing holistic, patient-centered care that prioritizes overall well-being with the goal of transforming how weight management is approached. Mochi Health takes a holistic approach to weight loss that includes visit with board-certified doctors, nutrition consultations, and medications delivered to your door. Science-backed medications including GLP-1s like Ozempic and generic compound versions, affordable and accessible, regardless of insurance coverage. With Mochi, their dietitians work hand in hand with your medication to create personalized nutrition plans that fit your lifestyle. Reach your weight loss goals with science-backed, FDA-approved GLP-1 medications and support from real doctors and guidance from registered dietitians and help with making easy and sustainable changes to achieve results. Y'all have seen this. My wife has done it. My brother-in-law has done it. One of my best friends is doing it. And it really is an amazing process that works. So get started at joinmochi.com and use code RLRC to receive $40 off. That's joinmochi.com and use code RLRC to receive $40 off and let Mochi help change your life.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Why does Avonmore Supermilk matter so much to so many Irish people? Well, in Ireland, whatever we're doing, we all like to get the most out of it. It's just the way we are. And we know we can rely on Avonmore Supermilk. It's fortified with vitamin D, so your body can absorb the calcium it needs to help keep bones healthy. It helps support your immune system too. So when you get the most out of your milk, you can get the most out of everything. Avonmore Supermilk. The most super our milk can be.
Real Life, Real Crime is a true crime podcast brought to you by Woody Overton and executive producer Toby Tomplay.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney prior to and during any questioning. You can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. You understand your rights?
Your crime spree was over, son. Yeah, you thought you had it licked, but Detective Overton made your sugar turn to shit. Get ready, you're gonna do time. Real life, real crime.
Warning. This episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast, may contain descriptions of acts of violence or that are of a sexual nature and should be for people that are 18 years or older. Heed my warning, people. I did not get the facts of these cases off of the internet or from some television show. The facts we're retelling you were presented to us by the victims of the crimes or the perpetrators who committed the crimes against the victims. My description of the crime scenes are what I saw with my own two eyes. If you're gonna get offended, please turn this podcast off now. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Woody Overton. Thank you for joining and listening. Appreciate each and every one of you lifers. Real Life, Real Crime is rocketing, growing every day, and it's because of y'all liking and sharing us. I appreciate that. Stay tuned in today's episode, and you'll get to hear some updates on some things and some things that we have going on. But let's get to the episode. And the name of the episode is Hell or Jail. I don't really remember what year it was. I think it must have been like 2004. I was a detective with the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office. And people ask me all the time, I get the question all the time, how do you handle like the PTSD from all the bad shit that you've seen, right? And I tell them that I really don't think about it. I guess I'm one of the ones that's blessed that can block things out. My way of dealing with it was by going hunting or fishing or whatever. And so stay with me. There's a reason I'm telling you this. But all the time when I was off, that's what I did, hunted and fished. But I always did it with other cops. And I think when I started as a rookie cop, Brother Pete Charlet, who had been a cop forever, but he also runs Charlet Funeral Home in Zachary, he told me, he said, my one piece of advice to you is keep at least one friend that's not a cop. And I was like, why? And he said, because you need somebody that can keep you grounded on the outside of law enforcement. He said, because all cops end up hanging out with other cops because they're the only people that get them. And I didn't really catch that at this time, but the years have gone by in my career, and I had no friends, but the guys that I work with, right, and the girls that I work with. And so on our days off, we did everything together. We hung together. We, worked whatever together. We hunted together. We fished together. We partied together. And this was no exception. And I can tell you the month was December, whatever year it was. The month was December because it was hunting season. And I knew that I got off that Friday, and I had planned to go up to Red River Wildlife Management Area, which was at the time they didn't have the new bridge built between St. Francisville and New Roads. So it took me like over 3 hours to get to this hunting spot. Now, what was there was Brian Paul Smith, who's now the chief deputy, and Ben Bourgeois, who's now the chief of detectives for the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office. They had a little camp on the outskirts of this management area, this hunting area. And we would go up there and do what we do, right? And I guess that's how my PTSD got released, because we would go up there. I load my truck up and with all the essentials, which is my firearm, a little bit of camouflage, and tons of beer, and my four-wheeler, and more beer, right? And so load up, take my time, drive up to the hunting camp, get there, everybody's there, you unload your stuff, and start drinking, right? And that's what we did. And we always had a fire. A couple of rules at the hunting camp: you always going to have cold beer, and you're always going to have a great meal, right? Because a lot of the guys I work with, coon asses, and y'all, coon ass is not a derogatory term. That's what Cajuns call Cajuns. And but everybody could cook something. So you get there, you start drinking, and you get around the fire, and you're telling the cop stories. And I guess that's how we decompress, right? And you drink through the night, and at some point you go to bed, and you get up in the morning, you go hunting. You come back from hunting, you get you some leftover jambalaya from the night before or whatever was cooked, and then you take your little nap, and you go hunt again in the evening. So it was a good time, and I'd taken off the whole week. And this would have been right after the Toys for Tots, or whatever Willie called it, the Christmas Crusade, after the presents were delivered, so probably the week before Christmas. And a bunch of us took off that week to go up there and spend the time and hunt, right? And no spouses, just the guys. So go up there, chilling, been waiting on this week for however long. And we got the first night went by, and then the second night, and like I said, we drank and ate good. I don't remember what it was, but the next morning, Now, listen, this place is so rural. There's no cell phone reception at this camp. I mean, none. You had to drive like 4 miles to the levee and get up on top of the levee at the Red River levee to get reception. And I remember, like, before I was married back then, Brian, Paul, and I were up there, and he had to call his wife, so we had to drive out to the levee in the evening time after the hunt. And he was on the phone with his wife. She was an awesome friend to me. She always treated me like family, but she didn't cut me any slack. But he was on the phone with her and saying his good nights or whatever. And I said, hey, you tell your wife, call my wife and tell her I won't be calling her this evening while I wasn't married. And Brian's wife Brian said, she said, if you had called your wife a few more times, you may still have one, right? So, but anyway, no cell phone reception, but the pagers worked. And we always had to have our pagers on. Willie's rule was, with the blood hit the ground and everybody gets called out, you got to come home no matter what, right? So the next morning after the morning hunt, I get back to the camp and getting ready to get something to eat, and my pager goes off. And it's the radio room. It says 1021, you're 42, 911. I'm like, what? And 1021 is call, y'all. And they were telling me to call my 42, which is my house, which means my wife at the time, in 911. I'm like, holy shit, right? So I know it's not good. It's going to be bad. And I'm thinking somebody died or something, right? So I had to jump in my truck, haul ass down to the levee, get up on top of the levee. And we had the Nextel phones back then. That's how long ago it was, the flip Nextels. And I called, and she answered, and she starts just reaming my ass. Screaming. I'm like, whoa. I said, settle down, tell me what's going on. She said, everybody in her neighborhood got robbed last night. All this and all your neighbors got robbed, and we look like idiots, and nothing's getting done about it, and get your ass home now and solve this case. And I'm like, what? I said, let me make a phone call. And so I hung up because I didn't want to listen to all that. And I called the radio room, and they were like, yeah, man, there's been 20 reports of vehicle burglaries on your street that happened last night. And I'm like, fuck. And I said, who's the detectives? And no detective's been assigned yet because they're working a shit hot case, some type of rape or something. I don't remember what it was. She said, so uniformed patrol guys have been getting called out there as the neighbors would wake up through the day and realize their shit had been burglarized. Then they would call in to have the report made. Now, on a big burglary like that, y'all, if a bunch of vehicles get hit, usually the detectives, at some point, the uniform guys are calling the detectives out so they can start fingerprinting and shit like that. It rained that night, the night before, I remember that. But the detectives were busy on a priority case. It was a rape case, and they were actively working it. So a uniform guy would go out and take a report from whoever the victim was. Then that victim may tell their neighbor to check their shit or whatever. And the uniform guys, as the uniform guys got dispatched out, they went. So a bunch of different guys went, and it got bigger as the day went along. So I called and called back and got another earful from my spouse at the time. And I was like, fuck, I got to go home. Right. And so I go back to the camp, and I told them, I got packing my shit up, and like, where are you going? I said, my neighborhood got hit, and there's no detective working the case because they're out on another case, and I got to go home. I mean, I'll never live it down from my spouse. I mean, we'll leave it at that. The person hadn't been my spouse for many, many years. But anyway, so I had to go home, and there was 3 hours. I had a bit of a hangover. It was a 3-hour ride, like a slow ride into hell. I know I'm going to catch hell when I go through the door. And no fault of mine. It was just the way it was back then in that relationship. And so I get there, and I pull into my truck, and it starts immediately when I walk in the door. And I'm like, what in the fuck do you want me to do? I said, I'm not Superman, motherfucker. I wasn't here last night. I said, I just drove 3 hours in, and I'll see what I can do. And so I called in. The detectives still were not available. And she had a list of her neighbors, which were her friends. Now, let me tell you about the street. It was Parham Avenue. I lived at 7917 Parham Avenue, third house on the right. And what reminded me of the story, y'all, was when I did the episode on first of the month. That was Parham Avenue. And actually the house that the guy was selling the dope out of that we raided was my next door neighbor. But it wasn't the same people. Those people had sold and moved out. Now, Parham is what they call Hunstock West. Hunstock East was across 16, big neighborhood, lots of streets and all this shit, big houses. The Parham was a straight line road in. You turned off of 16 and it went straight back, and just past my house where we set up on the first of the month I told you about, there's a cul-de-sac off to the right there. But you go to the inn, and the Parham is probably 3/4 of a mile long, maybe a half mile. I don't know. It wasn't that long. And you go to the inn, and there's a cul-de-sac on the back end. That's it. Houses, like any neighborhood now, the new whatever neighborhoods, houses are pretty close together. All of them are nice homes. Very, very quiet street. I don't even think I had a house key to my house. I never locked my house. But on the way home, I was really shitting myself because I'm thinking, holy fuck, I wonder, did I lock my unmarked unit? Because it must have been 2000.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glace, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Hey, y'all, you want to set your child up for success? Is your child struggling with a specific subject or need help with the subject? Is your child ahead, not getting challenged enough in class? Well, IXL Learning is an online learning program that enriches your homeschool curriculum. It offers practice in math, English, language arts, science, and social studies while adapting to each child, meeting them where they are. Plus, IXL encourages students to become curious and empowers them to choose how to learn. Look, we homeschool our son. No doubt about it. He's more of a visual learner, and we use IXL, and Cindy teaches him, and there are so many different benefits to the program. It adapts to exactly what he needs in different areas. So IXL is the perfect supplement to your homeschool curriculum. IXL offers interactive practice problems, educational games, lessons, and video tutorials for every topic you're teaching at home. It's easy to use, time-saving. Everything on IXL is organized by grade, subject, topic, and subtopic, making it simple to find activities for the exact skills you are covering. IXL offers instant feedback and explanations of new topics as kids use the program. Kids can explore any topic in any grade level. They aren't forced into a single learning path like they are on other programs. If you're homeschooling your child because they were falling behind or because they were too far ahead like our son, iExcel is a great program to help them get the exact support they need. Kids love iExcel's positive feedback awards and educational games. iExcel is trusted by 15 million students worldwide and has proven to improve performance in over 75 scientific research studies. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get iExcel now. And Real Life Real Crime listeners can get an exclusive 20% off iExcel membership when they sign up today at iexcel.com/today. Visit iexcel.com/today to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price. And don't forget, Real Life Real Crime listeners get 20% off. Y'all, we really do use this product, and it's been a godsend.
Because I was still on the SWAT team or SRT team, and in my unmarked unit, I had my AR-15, my tactical shotgun, all my SWAT gear, and I'm thinking, fuck, but I didn't say that. But one of the first things I did when I got home was made sure my unit was locked, right? So my shit was good. But Parham, quiet. You didn't turn on that street unless you had business on the street, okay? Great neighborhood, and we knew everybody. And as a matter of fact, my ex's office manager lived in the at the back of the first cul-de-sac right past my house. And shit, man, everybody got hit. Then I said, the second thing I checked was my spouse's SUV because I knew she never locked it. And we had a pistol in there that her father had given, and it was a Colt Police Special, an old revolver with the long barrel one. I'm talking about like from the 1930s and some shit. It was older and dirt. But I went out there and checked it, and sure enough, that some bitch was gone, and some change, and a little bit of cash that she kept in the thing. I'm like, oh shit! Now I gotta tell her that we got hit too, right? And so go in, tell her, and somebody else is calling. She's on the phone with another neighbor or the office manager, whoever. I go in. I'm not trying to hang out in the house and listen to this bullshit. I got to take the bull by the horns. No detective's been assigned. Now it's later in the evening, probably 2:00, something like that. And so I went in and threw on some detective's clothes and put on my badge, my gun, and I jet out the door. I get in my unmarked unit, and I go down. I talk to a couple of the neighbors, and y'all, what I noticed was every complainant, every victim had left their shit unlocked, right? But they had entered some people's sheds in their yards, like some weed eaters were stolen, a chainsaw, and all the stuff that was stolen out of the vehicles, the stereos. There was another pistol that was stolen from somebody else. It was a newer 9mm. All the shit that was stolen was what? It wasn't secure, right? A lock keeps an honest man honest. Now, I know that nobody had cameras on. They didn't have Ring doorbells back then. Of course, I did look to see if anybody had cameras, but nobody had cameras. But I did not believe that somebody came in there in a vehicle and hit this long row of homes. And now most of the houses that were hit were on my side of the street. So it showed to me that the perpetrators, it was obviously more than one. And it was like 20 vehicles and sheds and shit like that. So it showed me it was obviously more than one perpetrator, but also they only took what they could carry, which means more than likely they didn't have a vehicle in there. All right. So also, what time of the year is it? It's the holiday season. Who's out of school? Your kids, your teenagers and stuff like that, right? And burglaries always went up around the holiday times. The addicts got to buy presents too, and people steal shit, and a lot of them steal it and trade it for dope. A lot of them steal it and sell it and buy Christmas presents. But so I'm riding around and I'm looking, and now on Parham, if you're riding towards the end of Parham, away from my house, away from Highway 16, on the left-hand side is a major road on the outside of the neighborhood. On the right-hand side, where the two cul-de-sacs were, there's a big wooden fence that runs the whole backside of Hunstock West, whatever you want to call it, Parham Avenue. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna see what I could shake up, right? So I go back out to 16 and I hang out if they came in from that street side, there's nothing I could do. They could have parked the car wash down the street and came in, but I said I want to start on my side of the street where the wooden fence was. And so go out to 16 and hang a left, and then hang the first left, and I forget the name of the road. The first left, and it goes back in there now behind Parham Avenue. And it was like, back at the time, it was just a couple like track houses and some trailers back there, and it kind of made a circle. But when you turn onto it, now I'm in an unmarked white Crown Vic, y'all, and it's a cop car, right? And the lights are on the dash. So I turn in, and you come down to this little T, and I'm going from memory. You come down to this little T, but right in the middle of the T is a trailer that's facing me in the end, perpendicular, I guess you would call it, not horizontal. It's faced me, and there's like 3 big mean-ass dogs chained up in the yard. There's no driveway. It's a dirt lot, and it's a shitty trailer, and standing out in the yard are 2 males, and they weren't kids by any means. I mean, probably early 20s, but they're standing out there smoking cigarettes, and I'm looking at them, and they looking at me, and the first thing I see, they recognize the car as a probable cop car, right? And then their eyes got kind of big, and then I'm like, oh shit, here we go. But they could just be dopers, I didn't have anything solid to go on, so I rolled my window down, and I made eye contact with them, and they never broke eye contact. Now the street goes around, and as I'm going around, and when I had to look back towards the road, broke the eye contact, they go inside the trailer. I'm like, oh shit, business is about to pick up, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't have shit to go on, right? So I made the loop, and it comes back around on the other side of that trailer. So I'm looking at it hard, I'm scoping it hard, and I'm looking, and they had light blue curtains in the window. I'll never forget it. And I saw the curtains move, and then they closed. So they were watching for me to come back around. Well, fuck yeah, business is about to pick up, right? And this is not 50 yards from the back of the wooden fence on Parham. So I didn't have shit to go on, and I just was going to reach out there. I pulled into the little dirt yard. The dogs were chained in I guess they were not Rottweilers or Pit Bulls. They were mean-ass dogs, but they had big chains on them, like fighting dogs they do in the country. And the dogs are row, 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 row. But I made sure that I could walk up to the trailer where the dogs wouldn't get me. So I get out, and I'm walking up. Well, I'm thinking, first of all, for officer safety, or I'm approaching with tactics, right? I'm not just going to walk up and knock on the door and stand in front of the door, because if these are the guys that hit the neighborhood, I know they have at least 2 firearms. And I don't know if they're third strike felons, they want to shoot it out or whatever. They have what you call a kill zone. Right? And if you stand in front of the door, that's the fucking kill zone. So I walk up, single wide, old ass trailer. And I walk up, and I don't stand in front of the doors. It's cement steps, 3 steps. And I bang on the side of the trailer. I said, boom, boom, boom. I said, sheriff's office, open the door. I want to talk to you. Nothing. Boom, boom, boom. Sheriff's office, open the door. I want to talk to you. Nothing. Now, I know they ain't gone anywhere. There were no vehicles in the yard to start with. I know they haven't gone anywhere. They hadn't been able to get out of the area. So what I did, I'm like, well, what the fuck am I going to do, right? So I took out my Nextel, and I made that noise, and I said, 201-259, send me the SWAT team, get me the detectives. I need a search warrant for this trailer on whatever I can't remember the name of the street now, y'all. And I need a search warrant for this trailer. I got barricaded suspects. Give me the SWAT team out here. We need to surround it. And it's a high dangerous situation. I was making shit up, right? But I knew they could hear me. I knew they were listening. And then the door opens, and the guy comes out and says, wait, man, what's going on? It was one of the 2 that I had seen. But he shut the door right behind him as he came out. I said, what do you mean what's going on? And he said, why you calling a SWAT team? I said, that's right, motherfucker. I'm calling a SWAT team. And, y'all, I always taught the young guys never to start out high. I always start out low. But I didn't have anywhere to go but high on this one, right? And I really didn't have anything to go on but gut instinct. And I said, come down off them steps. And he came down, and I pushed him against the trailer. I patted. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm pat frisking for officer safety. And you don't got any firearms on you. I ain't got shit on me. And I turned him around, let him go, and I said, and I got it right in his face. I said, motherfucker, you have screwed the fucking pooch. He said, what are you talking about? I said, you know what? Don't even say anything. You need to listen to me, because what I'm about to tell you is the most important shit you've ever heard in your entire fucking life. I said, I know what you did last night. I know what your homies and your crew did last night. I'm not going to ask you a question about it. I'm here to tell you some cold, hard facts of how you fucked yourself. You have just shit in your nest, young man. I said, you're screwed. I said, how old are you? He said, I'm 19. I had his attention for sure, y'all. Now, I know this other asshole sitting in the trailer listening also. So I had to come up with some good shit. And I said, listen, y'all hit all those vehicles and those sheds on Parham last night. I said, but he started to say something. No, motherfucker, shut up. Listen to me. And I'm right in his face. I'm giving I'm going to kill you look, right? And I'm my crazy eyed look. And I said, you fucked up. I said, one of the vehicles that you hit was my shit. I said, but that's not even the problem. The pistol that you got out of it, the revolver, because you know what the fuck I'm talking about, because it says police special on it, and it's an old revolver. I said, but what you don't know is the story behind the revolver. And boy, his eyes are kind of big. I said, you have stolen a piece of American history. I said, do you know who the 28th president of the United States was? And he's like, oh, I said, no, I don't guess you fucking do. I said, his name was Woodrow Wilson. Y'all don't know if that's the 28th president or not. I was making it up as I went along. I said, his name is Woodrow Wilson. I said, I am named after him. My name is Woodrow, after him. I said, you know why? And he said, no, sir, why? I said, because that pistol saved the president's life. He was at Hotel Monteleone in New Orleans in a poker game in 1932. And one of the guys that he beat left the room, and they thought he was going to get more money. But he came back in with a knife, and he tried to stab the president. And my great-great-grandfather pulled that pistol out and shot him between the eyes and killed that motherfucker. And the president's life was saved by that pistol that you took out of my vehicle last night. That's a piece of national history, motherfucker, that you stole. And then you stole it from me. And I said, I want my motherfucking pistol back, and I want it back right this fucking second. And he was like, oh, and I said, no, I want it. And if you say anything other than that you have it, it's going to be hell or jail for you, son. And he was like, oh, and I said, no. Where's my fucking pistol? And he said, well, if I get it back for you, am I going to get in trouble? I said, motherfucker, if you don't get it back for me, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. SWAT team's on its way. We're going to roll in here. They're going to have to eliminate these big ass dope dogs that you got in your yard. And I said, have you ever seen a flashbang go off? We're going to throw flashbangs to every one of these windows on this piece of shit trailer, and it's going to blow your windows out, probably blow the sides of your trailer out. I said, and then they're coming in armed to the teeth. And well, guess what? We know you got two pistols in there, and you might be holding one of them. So it's hell or jail. You going somewhere today, it's one of the two, hell or jail. So you're fucked no matter what, because I know you got my shit, and I want my pistol back. And I'm not promising you anything other than you're going somewhere today, hell or jail. What's it going to be, motherfucker? And you know, I was just all crazy up on him. And I said, you know what? Fuck that. I said, you've got 2 hours right now. That's about how long it takes to get a search warrant for this piece of shit. And I'm going to have somebody sitting at the end of the road. I'm going to have somebody in the bushes making sure y'all can't leave. And you got 2 hours, and your time starts right now. I said, and I'm coming back. And when I come back, it's hell or jail. I ain't playing fucking games with you, boy. You shit in your own nest. You fucking stole from me, and you stole a national piece of national history. And I said, the FBI is going to have to get involved. This kid didn't know any better. He's about to cry. And so I turned around, I got in my car, and I rolled the window down. I'm just giving him the stink eye the whole way, right? And I'm back out, and I said, 2 hours. And
Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser-cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gifts to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone supporting supplement, it's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
I drove around his little circle, around like I did the first time when I saw him looking out the back window, and I was going like 2 miles an hour with my window down, and he was just standing out there for like 15 minutes. And so I told him about my third lap around, he was still standing out there watching me, right? I mean, he thinks I'm crazy. And I hollered, you got an hour? I mean, you have 105 minutes, whatever I told him. Basically, your clock is running, motherfucker. What are you doing standing in your yard? And I'd give him my card and said, you call me when you get the pistol and I want it, right? So I went around to Parham, but by the time I could get to my driveway, my phone rings. And I answer it, and he said, hey, Hoss, what the hell you doing? And it was Ken McMorris, the same one I told you we worked, we did all the dope jumping on Parham on the first of the month. And I'm like, I said, what do you mean, bro? And he said, bro, I just got a phone call from one of my CIs. And he said you were over there fucking threatening to kill him and blow his house up and everything else. And he said, I said, what else? Tell me what he said. He said, he called me. He said, Mr. Ken, I need your help. He said, motherfucker was crying, Woody. And he said, I need your help. And he said, son, what's wrong? And Ken told me, he said, I worked with this kid a lot in the past. They are, and I forgot to tell y'all this, he had meth sores and stuff on him when I was talking to him, right, on his face and stuff. So he was kind of tweaking. But he said he'd used him in the past as a CI. He called him up. He was crying. He was like, Mr. Ken, you got to help me. You got to help me. He said, you know a Detective Woodrow? He said, Woody Overton? He said, yeah. And he said he was at my house and he said, I got his gun. He says he's going to kill my dogs and blow my house up and I'm going to hell or jail. Well, Mr. Ken, he said, you got to help me. You got to help me. He said, son, he said, you got that man's pistol? And he said, the boy got quiet. He said, answer me. He said, let me tell you something. Woody Overton is fucking crazy. He said, I don't even go around the dude. He said, if he went to your house and he knows you got his gun, you better give that motherfucker up because I'm telling you, there ain't no telling what that crazy motherfucker to do. He said, what you don't know about Woody Overton, he was off in the war, in the first Gulf War, and he got all messed up in the head from killing people and shit. So if you got his gun, you better give it the fuck up. And he's like, Mr. Ken, can I give it to you? I don't want that dude coming back to my house. Can I give it to you? And I started laughing. I was like, Ken, that's the gun my father-in-law gave me. And I made up a lie about the gun and all this. He said he told me some crazy shit about the pistol saved the president of the United States. And he was, he said he was gibberish and going on and on. I'm like, dude, will you please go over there and get that shit? And he said, and the kid was working narcotics at the time. And then he said, I'm going to get with the detectives and we'll go over there and see what's up. He said, I'll get your shit back for you. So I waited a while and Ken called me back later. He said, man, he said, I don't know what you did to that boy, but you had them some kind of shook up. He said that they ended up making 3 arrests. The boy gave my pistol back, the other pistol back. He said they recovered all kinds of stolen merchandise from the neighborhood. Not everything, because on the big burgers like that, trying to recover everything is like standing in the middle of a hurricane with a feather pillow and cutting it open and shaking all the feathers out and then trying to pick up each individual feather, right? Some of it they would have taken and traded for dope that, right away that night. But he was able to get my firearm back. A lot of the stuff that belonged in the neighborhood back were car stereos and stuff they hadn't got rid of. He said, Woody, we arrested 3 of them and we got full confessions out of them. I said, look, I didn't advise him Miranda, but I wasn't trying to question the motherfucker either. I was just going on, pure blind gut luck instinct, And so they got him and they booked him in. All of them were adults and they did it. I mean, they hit the neighborhood. They stole all the shit, but got the pistol back. Fast forward. You know what I did? I loaded my shit. I went back inside. I changed into my hunting clothes. I got back in my truck, and I went hunting for the rest of the week. The home life be damned, right? So had a great week hunting, come back, get to the courthouse. The very first thing I do is look up and see what district attorney has been assigned case, and it was Greg Murphy. And I called him and said, hey, Greg. He said, man, I'm reading your shit got stolen, huh? And he said, but they were able to get it back. I said, yeah. I said, you do me a favor, please, and make an example out of these fuck sticks because, my reputation is, and everybody in that neighborhood is a huge sheriff's office supporter and a huge DA supporter. He said, don't worry about it. And they ended up giving him 12, he pled. There was no trial, no motion to suppress. I mean, he pled to 12 years for the vehicle burglaries. Now, 12 years is a shitload of time for a vehicle burglary in the grand scheme of things. In the past, they would give them like probation or whatever. And so to get them to plead down to 12 years to plead to 12 years is a big deal. And it wouldn't have happened had, I not been involved. Fast forward, many years later, I was with the state police. I'd been divorced from that person for a long time. And I get a phone call, and it's a probation parole officer that I knew, that I actually worked at Southeastern with before, and I'm not going to say his name. And he said, Woody, he said, you got robbed way back when on Parham Avenue. I said, yep, sure did. He said, you remember the fella? I said, yep, sure do. He said, look, he's coming up for parole. And he said, he's been a great inmate. He said he's got no write-ups. He made trustee. And basically, once he got off the dope, he turned out to be a decent guy. And he said he's coming up for parole, but this shit's been flagged. They wanted me to call you and see if you have a problem with him getting paroled, or do you want the parole board to deny him? And I said, I don't give a shit, man. I said, I've been going up from there for forever, like probably almost the whole time he's been incarcerated. And I think he'd done like 5 or 6 years. And I told him, I said, I don't care, dude. Tell him, don't ever come around me again. And if he ever sees me again, he better turn and go the other way before I see him. So, but he got out, and even getting out on paper, the 12 years, his sentence would have long been up by now before I told this story. So that's it. Not a great big drama story like last week, and with the murder and the death of the baby and all that, but just a story that when I did the first of the month, it reminded me of being on Parham when we got robbed that time, and how I got lucky and scared the shit out of that dude to crack the case. So, but anyway, I appreciate y'all. A little bit of more of a lighthearted story. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening. And wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for the lifers, right? So patron members, we love you and appreciate you. If you can't be a patron member, I ask that you just subscribe to us and like us and leave a review on iTunes and all that good podcast or stuff I'm supposed to say. Instagram at Real Life Real Crime or at Overton Woody. I'm posting some funny stuff on there pretty much every day, y'all. Check it out. Follow me on that. And we're about to start doing more videos for our YouTube channel. Check that out. The Courtney Coco case. We are in the same holding pattern. And I know people are like, COVID this, COVID that. I'm telling you, I have from a reliable source that COVID is the actual hold up because certain meetings can't take place. And I can't say any more about that. So I'm telling you, it doesn't do any good to put more pressure on them right now or to bitch about it or complain, because it cannot move forward at this time. But it is actually being worked, and that it is my 1,000% firm belief arrests are going to be made in that case. And to you, suspect 1 and suspect 2, kiss my ass. I heard you were going to sue me. Get you a lawyer and sue me. I would love to be able to tell everything that I know in civil court on Courtney Coco's case that I didn't get to put out on the podcast because I didn't want to do anything to jeopardize the investigation. I would love for you to just fucking sue me, so go ahead and do it, because I know you listen, you little bitches. Miss Barbara Blunt's case, I am moving forward, okay? You don't know, I can't say everything, etc., but I think the next episode you hear from Real Life Real Crime will be a different angle on Miss Barbara Blunt that I'm going to do the episode on, so get ready for it. It's got some real interesting stuff. But please share Miss Barbara Blunt's case. Lay off the Coco, lay off Alexandria PD. They've done what they can do to this point, and it's moving forward. But y'all, on Miss Barbara Blunt's case, I'm still getting tips. So every time y'all share it, the case, I get the tips. And I'm about to leave tonight to go to my place in the woods, and I'm going to sit down with that case file, and I'm not leaving, not getting done until I have the next. I have a lot of information. Let's put it like that. So just keep calling in your tips. Sheriff Ard is 1,000% committed to working on this case, and he has the resources on it. It is not it's not a frozen cold case anymore, okay? Because of the lifers, because y'all care. And y'all, a lot of you send your tips, and you're like, oh, I feel stupid for sending this in. Bull. There is no stupid tip. Send in your tips. Every tip helps. You never know what's going to be the one tip that breaks the case wide open. So, and I appreciate you and just love y'all to death. let's talk about LOPA, Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency, right? That's my personal mission for Real Life, Real Crime. Lifers, if you haven't signed up, please go, and it'll be in the show notes, to the LOPA.org and sign up. It takes 2 minutes. Hey, if you sign up, take a screenshot of it, and we'll post it in the crew, right? It's so important. And I did a podcast with them that's about to come out in a couple weeks, I think. And I want y'all to listen to it. When this little 5-month-old baby saved 4 lives, her organs did. And I've had other cases where organ donors, we have lifers that are alive today. Right now, one of them got a double lung transplant. Okay, well, guess what? Somebody had to die to get her those lungs, right? She wouldn't be breathing if it wasn't for it. So when you die, they have a real strict guideline. It's not like they can go a week later, they have a certain time frame. Actually, you still have to be alive. I'm not most technical savvy on it. We'll have the people on one day to explain it to you, but you have to be alive, like brain dead, hooked up to the machine for them to go in and get the organs that they need to help these other people that are dying. They're living on machines and waiting on these organs and shit, man. You're not going to care. You're going to be dead anyway, right? They still got your body to bury. I mean, let them use it. And there's some things that they do with tissue for studies and stuff like that. So you want to be a hero. Life was a real hero. Go sign up for LOPA. Go sign up to be an organ donor and give the gift of life. Okay? Give the gift of life. And I have a really moving story. Toby Tom Play, our executive producer, one of his best friends' daughters died recently. And her organs were able to go and help a bunch of people. I want Toby on. I want him to be able to tell that story. These are real people. These are real lives. And so be a hero. Go sign up at LOPA.org, or it'll be in the show notes. Go sign up. Be an organ donor. Be a hero. Save lives. Lifers save lives. And I'm Woody Overton, your host of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. Until next time or ever, don't let me catch you down on Murder Bayou. Peace.
Get ready, you're gonna do time. Real life, real crime.
Real Life, Real Crime is a true crime podcast brought to you by Woody Overton and executive producer Toby Tomplay.
It can get lonely climbing Mount McKinley, so to entertain myself, I go to ChumbaCasino.com. At Chumba Casino, I can play hundreds of online casino-style games for free, like online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Plus, I get a daily login bonus. It's just too bad that up here, I don't have anyone to share my excitement with. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Live the Chumba life. Anytime, anywhere. Play for free now at ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.